Let's head back to the voicemail of Truth and Reason.
Even though I know we're not drafting them all, I think that we need to possibly pick up another big boy, another defensive tackle or two possibly, and also try to get some valid defensive ends. I know it's going to be later in the draft, but we need to find some hidden gems within, that later round. Just because looking at Jim Schwartz's defense with the Titans and stuff like that, the defense starts and stops with the defensive tackles and the end. So our defensive line has to be really, really good this upcoming season. So, yeah, go Browns.
As always, appreciate all the voicemails. Brad, some names of guys that you think would fit with the Browns, especially given what Jim Schwartz likes to do defensively.
Yeah, so if we're looking a bit later, let's say we're kind of looking at guys that we don't think are going to be there in the top pick of the draft. I think Isaiah Foskey from Notre Dame makes a lot of sense. A guy that I think could last into that range, a good player at Notre Dame, 6'5", 265 pounds, a bigger true 4-3 defensive end. I think he'd make a lot of sense. If we're looking on the interior, I think a guy like Kobe Turner from Wake Forest makes a lot of sense. A player that's been, shooting up draft boards or, whatever things you hear this year. Had a 93 run defense grade for us this past year. One of the best marks in all of college football. Not the biggest guy, but a guy you probably could coach up and build up a little bit. We talked about Siaki Ika. Another player, more of a pass rusher on the interior, but Moro Ajomo from Texas is one more name I think is interesting. And then we talked about Isaiah McGuire on the edge. One more guy. I think he's more of an interior 3 technique, but can play on the edge and can play on the inside, which is something we've seen Jim Schwartz do a bunch in Tennessee. Did it with guys like DeMarcus Walker, who's now a Chicago Bear, is Carl Brooks from Bowling Green. Obviously, the local connection there. 6'4", 300 pounds, played more on the edge in college. A good athlete, kind of a nimble for his size. I think he can move him all over the place, and I think he could be an interesting, probably not a guy that contributes right away, but an interesting player for 2024 and beyond.